result that will determine.
Okay. I'm not even going to go there. That was what. Yeah, I saw that thing this morning, and you know when you just laugh off things like really, really, you too. Anyway, Sha, it's not your fault. It's not your fault at all. It's Babangida now that put us in this mess that you two you have got something to say about. Anyway, let's start the show. Good day, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, everybody watching and listening to us. It is 3 p.m. in Lagos, Nigeria, and it is time for your Boombar on your boomradio.com.ng. We bid you a warm welcome for everybody joining us. Again, if you are just joining us for the very first time, we say welcome, welcome, welcome. Where have you been? Like, really? What happened? What have you been doing all this while? You know? But we'll take it like that. It is it has been a very interesting 24 hours in Nigeria, in the political scene. Like we had said, he said that there's going to be a lot of politics back and forth. We know that INEC has put everybody in this situation when they decided to make election primaries really early, almost a year before the elections. Also, they made it more interesting when he gave everybody 1 week after primaries to pick their running mate. Never, ever happened. We know that there's also going to be a lot of election talk from now. We know that also Ekiti State, there's governorship elections on Saturday. Yes, for people that do not know, Nigeria there's some states that the elections are a little bit irregular because of courts. Some courts had sacked some people. Some people had rerun. There are pockets of states like that have those. There are about 3 of them in the southwest. There's Ekiti, there's Osun State elections, there's Ondo also, and I think there's a particular state in the there are a few states. Anambra has that peculiarity as well. There are about 5 or 6 states that have those peculiar, so they will not be having elections in 2023. Some of them have had already. Ondo State had last year. Ekiti State is having on Saturday. I know that Osun State is having next month. So that's why we're going to be talking about those ones for people that do not get that. We're definitely
And Edo.
Yes, Edo State too was last year. It's pretty chaotic as well. I remember that time too. So yes, there are a few of those, and that's the reason why we're talking about that. But the main thing on the front burner is everybody at this point now. Everybody's waiting for everybody's running mates, and I hope that a lot of presidential candidates remember that their deadline is Saturday. I think is either Friday or Saturday, because as of today, weirdly, I didn't even think that it was going to be this fast. People's Democratic Party is the only party that has announced their running mate, which I'm not saying that anybody should announce. Is not. I don't think it's for public consumption yet, but or more like I won't say it's not for public consumption. More like if you do not announce it yet and you go ahead and submit your INEC forms, I don't think it's against the law. So it's very possible that some people might have, and they've just not announced it
without announcing.
Yeah. So, but for now, they are the People's Democratic Party is the only person that has officially announced their running mate. So I'm guessing that their own their forms are through.
Yeah, most definitely. They might not have even submitted the form yet. That's the funny thing about it.
True.
You know.
But at least their form is complete.
There was a little bit of an organized structure and system towards this announcement. They set up a committee.
A panel, yeah.
And it was headed by Tom Ikimi.
And it was just today, and it's surprising how that was really fast.
If you know Tom Ikimi from Nigerian politics, and you remember the June 12 elections, a lot of people would not be smiling when they hear that name. But that's not the reason why we're having this discussion. The reason why we're talking about this is because the flag bearer of the PDP has now chosen a serving governor, not a serving governor, and the governor of Delta State, Okowa. And if you look at Okowa's CV, it's actually rich politically. You know, he's worked as a commissioner about 2 or 3 times.
Yeah, I heard he's
Was a senator before he became a governor. You understand? So he's seen as a grassroots person.
Yeah.
A lot of people in politics look on Okowa and say he's a grassroots guy, and those are the toughest guys when it comes to politics.
Yeah, you know, you don't hear a lot. You don't hear him a lot in the news. Yeah, you don't. In fact, to me, I think he comes off as a very quiet person.
Yeah,
But
he has that
but over time, when you hear a few things about him, you know that okay, he's really maybe not somebody that you really overlook.
Just when
that much.
Just when you were doing the introductions, you talked about the states that have staggered elections as against the general elections, and we mentioned Edo State.
Yeah,
and is one of the people credited with the victory of the PDP in Edo.
In Edo State, yeah, I heard so.
A lot of people who were on ground will tell you how much
influence he has in Edo State as well.
He brought to bear there and everything. So this might have been some of the things that led the flag bearer Atiku Abubakar to have chosen an Okowa. The funny thing is the news mills went into overdrive yesterday with the news that Governor Wike of River State had been chosen. The PDP quickly shut that down and said that's not true, and that they were still going to have a sit down about it and everything. Some people, I've seen someone tweet and say, "Oh, that was Wike's people trying to, twist the arm of the party in a way and use a little bit of coercion or pressure or whatever." It's someone's opinion, not mine, but I'm sharing it so that we can just look at how people think and the whole process. But if you look at it back and forth and say, okay, they said this and they said that, I also know that Wiki would have been an amazing candidate to have.
You remember that we had this conversation yesterday and you asked me and I was like that politically, this was basically what we were talking about before we got on the show, that Governor Wike has this very intimidating persona. I never met Vice President Atiku Mbaka, but he comes off as a calm person. I think that it would have been a little chaotic. I don't see, as much as politically, I think, my own opinion, I think that Governor Wike is a stronger person politically. And the truth of the matter is, whether we like it or not, it's politics that gets you to win the elections.
Yeah.
I don't see a Governor Wike as a vice president.
Yeah.
I don't see him as anyone's vice.
There's a video of an interview that he granted. I think it was Channels TV. And it's come back into circulation yesterday. I saw it this morning. And in that video, they asked him about being a vice president. And he went off on the reason why he would never be a vice president. You understand? It went on and on. I think it was granted earlier this year.
Yeah.
And the video resurfaced.
I agree with him, really. I don't see him being anybody's vice.
Again, contrary to that thought, I feel he's the kind of guy you want in your corner. One of the reasons why I say that personally is that if you're talking about loyalty, this man had reasons to leave the PDP 4 years ago. He had a candidate that he was pushing from the north. It didn't work, and he stayed back and still worked for the party. You understand? Even when he lost the primaries a few weeks ago, he said he wasn't going anywhere. He's always said that. The funny thing is, you look at the Atikus and the Sarakes of this world.
They've been
They left the
junketing
party.
all over the place. Yes.
Then they came back.
Yes.
You know, and it's almost like I always say, in Nigeria we like to reward bad behavior. And Wike, if it wasn't for one or two things that they played up against him, it probably should be the flag bearer.
Yeah.
But if they had given him, I'm sure he would have gone all out. The real job now is to convince him,
get people like that to work for
to
you.
work on the campaign.
Yeah.
Maybe make him campaign DG
Campaign
or something,
DG,
because that man is a politician.
Oh,
and,
yeah.
And he understands.
No, hate him or
politics.
love him. He's paid his dues. He knows what he's doing, and that's the truth, whether we like it or not. So yeah, Governor Okowa is former Vice President Atiku is the PDP presidential running mate as we speak. But also, there's still one or two things that I want to unpack from that.
Yeah, and of course there are a lot of reactions here and there. But
now, I won't say my first reaction, but one of the reactions I also had personally is that why is it always, isn't that the PDP needs to, or not the PDP now, the Southeast? Weirdly, I feel for them a lot. I feel for them because of especially with the issue of PDP. Out of every single region, even with the South, out of every single region in Nigeria, the Southeast has been the most loyal to the PDP. Hate him or love them, it is what it is. The whether we like it or not, maybe it's structures that they had built to that level or whatever it is, but it is what it is. Whether it's just that they just like the PDP better, but they have been loyal. I know that a few days ago we had talked about the APC and the Southeast, and we had talked about how they never really voted for the APC, so nobody has any say. How the Southwest, when push came to shove, the Southwest stood up for the APC and they delivered. Even the only state that did not win a state election still delivered the presidential for the APC, which I feel that what the Southwest is to the APC is what the Southeast is to the PDP. But here we are in the PDP, where it is even in their constitution. Number one, they did not give the presidential candidacy to the Southeast. Now, where there was another opportunity to give it to them, because that's where I feel this would have been another opportunity to appease them a little bit. With the vice presidency candidacy, it is moved again to the South. How fair is it on these people?
well, all is fair in love and war, and politics too. I add politics to it. We can't talk about fairness in politics per se. We should, but in this case,
are we saying that there is nobody in the whole of the Southeast that can pull enough crowd that can that is worthy enough to be a vice presidential candidate? No, vice presidency. Now that
no. If you're talking about vice presidency, then I cannot say what I wanted to say. So I'm going to say, okay, the political elite in the Southeast have spoken that they don't want to be vice president. That you can, if you just go online, you will see several statements that nobody should even accept to be anybody's vice president or running mate. Is that all they are good for? You get?
But you aren't getting the presidency, so shouldn't you just
they are
get what you have?
That's what you say. You're talking about the PDP, but they have options now. The Southeast has options. They have someone in the ADC, but especially they have someone in Labour Party.
Talking about Labour Party,
they believe, has what it takes to win.
A PDP senator in in Anambra State, exactly. The person of Stella Odua. I saw there was, I can't remember what exactly. There was an event yesterday where she was literally being asked about Peter Obi and Labour Party coming to Anambra State and all that, and her response was that the PDP in Anambra State and the Southeast has seen parties come and go, so they are not a threat.
Our opinion, as a leader of thought, as a politician, and someone who knows our onions.
Exactly.
That's our opinion, though. It's still our opinion until the results are counted next year, and it goes otherwise. Then our opinion doesn't make any sense. But if it goes the way she said, then we still remain. Oh man, she knew what she was saying. The truth is, we're all going to be postulating. We're all going to be talking about what we think is right and what we think is wrong, and who can win and who can't win until the results come in. Until INEC tell us this is the winner of the elections. Everything we're saying is just opinions. It's sentiments driven and a whole lot of that. However, we need to learn how to, take information and manage it properly. She might be speaking from a place of strength. She's not a first-time senator. She's not a baby in the game. She's a former minister of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. So don't dismiss anything she has said like that, you get. But again, it's opinion, it's sentiments.
Okay, talking about opinions and sentiment, I know that another major issue that everybody's talking about is Peter Obi is in the news again. Of course, he's a presidential candidate. He's very popular on social media, so it's kind of expected, yeah. But before we get to that, there's a particular news that is going around, and I don't understand some things, but I would go to a particular story where a Kogi State lawmaker, House of Representatives, had shown his credit alert on TV that his monthly salary is 697,000 naira. And the first thing that popped in my head is that it's not Uncle Stop lying. I'm not saying that he's lying, but is it politics that makes us do some of these things? Because for me, it's only someone that is very uninformed that will know that that's the only money he gets paid. He gets paid running grants every month. He gets paid allowances. He gets paid money for constituency projects and all that, which runs into millions every single month. So what are you trying to achieve?
But he was just telling you the truth. His salary. His salary now. He didn't say that was his total income or total pay. He just said salary. I like to take people at their words, like, okay, this is what you get as salary. Great. Then we now talk about the other things that you mentioned, which of course also goes to him. You know, all of those monies go to him. He's the one that disburses to his immediate staff and everything and all of that. So, but hey, what do we know? However, I think it was a bold move on his own part to do that on national TV. You know, I think it was a bold move. But we're not swayed by those things.
That's what I'm saying. Like, okay, really.
Well, you get what I'm saying now. We're not swayed by it. What you should have done, you should have gone further to show them other alerts.
Yeah, how you spend your running grants,
yes,
all your allowances.
Yes, and all the other.
And you know they go on
bonuses and stuff.
You know what? And it's very interesting. Yeah, maybe because to a large extent I studied this thing and asked a bit of questions here and there from people, and I hear when they say that they have staff that they have to. Uncle, you get paid to pay those staff. It's not your money. You're not paying them from your pocket. Do you understand? And then people say these things and they think that they can just get away with it. No, you're not paying these people from your pocket. We all know. Okay, don't let me say we all know, because a lot of people don't know. And a lot of people will probably take this like hook, line, and sinker. But It's 2022. If you're going to campaign about things, let's campaign about issues. Let's talk about issues and not you're not getting paid. We all know that the National Assembly in Nigeria are probably one of the highest paid parliamentarians in the whole world.
True that.
So what are we talking about, please? So can we just let's stop doing all that political jargons. Anyway, let's move on to another another presidential candidate. This is in the person of Peter Obi. Peter Obi, for people that do not know, is the presidential candidate for Labour Party. He's said to be in Egypt at the moment. I hope that he remembers that he needs to submit a vice presidential candidate.
I'm sure that's already sorted
for him to contest. Anyway, just put it out there. Like, let's not forget these things, yeah. And we do that, and then the next thing is that this morning there is a video of a very controversial preacher, Reverend Father Mbaka. Is a lot in the news. I'm not even sure if I see this person, I know how it looks like, but the name definitely rings a bell. Like he's a very vocal person when it comes to a lot of social issues. And he had now come out to say today that stinginess does not win election. Although wait, you said it very well this morning. How did you say it?
I can't remember. You know, we need to start playing these videos back so that people will actually make up their mind. But I think if I paraphrase, he was saying something like a stingy person. Nigeria does not need a stingy
president. Yes.
That what Nigeria needs is a generous person, someone that people are hungry and they need someone who's going to be generous towards them. I'm paraphrasing basically what you said, trying to quote him verbatim, but I'm paraphrasing still. So that's what he said in essence. And the people who actually heard other parts of that speech, the videos that we have seen are short videos, and in the video we saw and we listened to like 5 times, you know, that was Reverend Father Mbaka at his best, saying that a stingy person and all of that. Some people claim that he went ahead to say that Peter Obi was not. I didn't see that with my own eyes or hear that with my own ears, you know. But a lot of people have actually quoted other things.
Yeah, there's a little bit of quote about how Peter Obi is his friend, but that when he was chased out of the government house, he knew the role that he played to bring him back. And how did he pay me back? He's talking about 9 meetings that he attended to bring him back. He said, ask Archbishop Annie Kwena. They were there and we did it, and he was brought back. Ask Peter Sins what he did to reward adoration. If you like Peter Obi, tell him to come and ask for forgiveness. Tell him to come and redo what he did. There's an altar of God he blasphemed. He defied an altar of God, the Holy Spirit.
Well, now, let me be straight up here. I have always advocated for everybody to get involved in politics. Mm-hmm. Muslim, Christian, church, mosque, traditional or traditionalist, Ogun worshipper, whatever you worship or believe in, get involved in what affects you as a Nigerian citizen. I've always advocated that. Mm-hmm. But in getting involved, do not bring some of those things that are attached to your religion or your position to politics. It's a democracy. It's a democracy, and we all have one vote. Now, we know that some people have more votes because of influence. But I would never, just like I feel that the Christian Association of Nigeria has been making some very unnecessary statements, I would never, ever, ever listen to any religious leader that tries to control how people vote.
Vote, yeah.
You can't. Now,
you shouldn't actually.
Now, you can try that with other people. It's fine, no problem. It is wrong, but it's okay if they are okay with it. But for me as an individual, no religious leader can tell me who to vote for or who not to vote for. But now, Father Mbaka is going out of bounds, and we have to speak the truth. You have issues with Peter Obi. Why don't you call him up and talk to him one-on-one?
And talk to him one-on-one. But before we continue, I just want to this here. Ohaneze Ndigbo has come out to say that former Vice President Atiku Abubakar will lose in 2023 for selecting Okowa.
Okay, so this is what we're talking about. I think the same body was like, no Igbo person should be vice president.
So I'm like, so what exactly do you want? Make up your mind.
You need to understand that Ohaneze Ndigbo is definitely supporting Peter Obi. And I have a friend, a very close friend of mine. I just saw a tweet from him a few minutes ago before we came on air. He works in the media, and he's like, no son of the Southeast or daughter of the Southeast should vote for anybody other than an Igbo candidate. And I've been seeing a lot of these sentiments. And remember, I don't know if I said it on air, but as soon as we settled the number of people who were running, we knew there was, at this election at some point it's going to become a regional thing. And this is what's panning out now.
Oh yeah.
Because Ohaneze Ndigbo really did not have to make that statement. This is politics. You didn't have to make a statement saying that Atiku will lose because he chose Okowa. Okowa has a right to aspire to the highest position in the land, or the second highest.
And I think it's because a lot of politics is based on ethnicity and religion. If it's really just based on competence, really, I don't even think we will have these issues. We will be having this conversation. But unfortunately, it is what it is, and it's what we have to like really deal with. So at times you see these things, and you're like, how did these things start? The Ohaneze Ndigbos, the Afenifere, the Arewa, and like, what was the plan of these things when they were set up? Were they really political tools?
They're always political tools. They're always going to masquerade. It's just the same way Khan is acting like an opposition party. And this is not me saying it. This is me quoting a highly revered man of God, Pastor Kumuyi, telling them, are you? So there's always agenda and motive. Everybody has an ulterior or superior motive, but there's always agenda and motive.
Yeah.
I put out a tweet this morning, and it was something that had been running through my mind. And I said that, and actually I was inspired by a lot of things that I've been observing. Then I saw one of my friends on national TV, cherry picking data to support his opinion. And he shared the video on social media, and I watched it from beginning to end, and I said, wow, now he's making sense. Now he's making the anchor weak. And because if the anchor comes at him too much, they'll be like, is the anchor trying to subvert the guy's opinion? But you're cherry picking data because you have an agenda.
Yeah.
Not like what you're saying did not happen, but you're only picking.
But there's a larger story to it.
So that's what everybody has been doing. So I put out that tweet, and I'm asking people that listen to what they say, though. But it's your job to dig deeper with an open mind. Therein lies the truth.
Yeah. It's very, very interesting.
So the Ohaneze Ndigbos, the Afeniferes of this world, Yoruba Nation, IPOBs, and all are pushing agendas.
Yeah, everybody has their own. Has their own agenda. So going back to Reverend Father Mbaka, and like you were talking about how it's a little distasteful.
Yes.
You have a problem with Peter Obi. Yeah. It's really not a problem. It's really not a problem.
Yeah.
I think that it would not have looked funny, because remember that the national chairman of APGA had come out to talk about how they obviously have issues with Peter Obi as well. But it's okay for them to say what they said and do what they did. They're a political party.
They are. And APGA spoke its mind through its national chairman. And you cannot fault that, because yes, you can actually argue with it, but that's their opinion.
That is their opinion.
And
they're a political party. They're allowed to.
Party. And again, the people who wield this power, or who presume that they wield so much power, are all using it for a specific reason, and it's always about agendas, their own interest and everything. So for me, again and again and again, Reverend Father Mbaka should have at least reached out to his so-called friend. But he has put it out. Maybe that's the unction on him. Maybe that was what the God that he serves told him to do. You don't know. You can't. They said God's ways are mysterious and we don't understand it. So maybe he was under the anointing to speak what he spoke. But having said what he said, we've seen videos of when there was a bazaar before the last election, and Peter Obi had attended that bazaar in Reverend Father Mbaka's church, and on the stage during the bazaar, the Reverend Father insisted on Peter Obi announcing a donation to the church to support the bazaar and all of that. And
but is it
Peter
really
Obi
right?
stood his ground. Apparently, they had that discussion. Maybe they had the discussion off mic, or before that video started rolling. But Peter Obi said, just like he had said before, he was saying again, that he's not going to announce money like that. But that if they show him a project, then they should not worry, it will happen. But Reverend Father Mbaka in that video went out to say, look, that you cannot be fooling God, you cannot be playing these games, and that this is why you people will lose an election, and you won't even know what will happen when the election happens, and you will lose, and this and that and that and that, and that you should stop being stingy.
Do you compel people to give you things?
Exactly.
I think it's wrong.
Coercion, compulsion.
I think it's wrong, and on all levels.
Free will.
It is wrong on all levels. Call it whatever it is you want to call it.
If you are a Peter Obi supporter, or you're an objective-minded person like we are, you see what's wrong with Reverend Father.
You understand? I'm not.
But if you are someone who does not like Peter Obi and you support another candidate, or you just don't want Peter Obi, you would jubilate at what Reverend Father Mbaka said, because guess what? Right after he made that statement in 2018, the next day he came out with a very, very, very lengthy and real apology. Like, it was him speaking from the heart, saying he's sorry, he shouldn't have made those statements that he made. He actually did apologize, but nobody's talking about his apology.
Oh
now.
Yeah,
we've seen
those
the video
things.
too.
Those things. Nobody really talks about those things anymore.
We've seen what happened. But however, on this same matter, his apology does not count anymore. Because
it doesn't, because now he has said something else.
So
was the apology really meant then, or it was just for optics? Really, at that point, it's a very interesting, very, very interesting issue. But before we move on, with the House of Representatives and the Senate, there's a bit of drama going there. Somebody stepping down, somebody not stepping down, somebody moving from party to party. But before we get to that, there was something that you talked about right before we got in, and it's about someone wanting to be president, how he will be president like his father did. Which is why I feel that maybe we should run down the list of presidential candidates that we know for sure that are contesting in the 2023 elections. So for the People's Democratic Party, that even have a running mate now is Alhaji Abubakar, Atiku, and Governor Ifeanyi Okowa. That's for the People's Democratic Party. For the All Progressives Congress is Asiwaju Bola Tinubu. We do not know who his running mate is yet, or more like they've not announced it. The Africa Democratic Congress, ADC, is in the person of Dumebi Kachiku. That is the person that beat Professor Kingsley Moghalu. The person that was going to Kingsley Moghalu, that was going to kick out APC.
Couldn't even win on ADC's platform.
Couldn't even win. Also,
Sad.
the new Nigeria People's Party (NNPP) is in the person of Senator Rabiu Kwakwanso, the former governor of Kano State. And also there is Dan Nwanyanwu of the Zenith Labour Party. There is Peter Obi of the Labour Party. There is Adewale Adebayo of the Social Democratic Party. There is Malik Ado Ibrahim of the Youth Progressive Party (YPP). There is the African Action Congress Omoyele Showore. There is Hamza Al Mustafa of the Action Alliance. The same Al Mustafa, in case you're wondering. Peter Umeadi of the All Progressives Grand Alliance. So yeah, I didn't know that APGA actually had a presidential candidate. So yes, they do have a presidential candidate. The Action Democratic Party (ADP), Yabaji Sani. Accord Party has Christopher Imumolen. National Rescue Mission. Okay. Okudili Inwanya GK. So that looks like there's a lot of people from the southeast on this list. And finally, in the person of Kola Abiola, People's Redemption Party, who says he is going to win the elections in 2023 like his father had won the election in 1993.
Yeah, quite an extensive list of presidential candidates with one running mate mentioned. The others are
but I think it's a good list
compared
to where we're coming from.
Public and interesting times are ahead for us as a people, because it's when we see the other running mates that the discussion will
start. It probably will just
know? And you look at some of the names of that list that you mentioned, you're like, how serious are these people? Seriously, like, how serious are you? How serious are you? This is not a joke anymore. This is our lives here, but well, what do I know?
It's very, very interesting though. But you know what, I'm even happy about it because was it 2015 or 2019 that we had about 70 something presidential candidates? So I think we're getting somewhere. I honestly think that it's a huge improvement from what we had in 2019. So I think it's amazing. There are less than 20 people now.
At least
there is a lot of time. You never can say somebody somewhere will still.
The ballot paper won't be as long as it was.
It won't be as long as the other time. Waste of resources, which that one was. But also, you never can say some people might actually still step down.
I think that will still happen.
Yeah, so I think that this time is actually looking very, 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 very good. So let's go to the House of Representatives, where no, not even the House of Representatives, the Senate, and it's starting from the Senate President himself, where by all indications, it's looking like the Senate President is not even coming back to the Senate at all since 1999. What will he now do? Because his only job for the past 23 years is being a senator.
Yeah, sorry.
23 years is a lot of time. He's about, I think he's in his 60s now.
Yeah.
So he's been a senator since he was like in his 40s.
Yeah, sorry. Is that
what will he be doing now?
Yeah, sorry.
That's not nice.
See.
Why are you angry? You sound angry. You sound upset.
No, I'm not actually. I'm actually happy that, you see, again, life is politics and politics is life. And you find that at times you sit down and make some permutations. You do some corrections and some connections, and you now put it out and you expect a result, and it doesn't work the way you want. Then at times it does. And when it works the way you want, you celebrate and jubilate and you don't complain, and nobody even knows. But when it doesn't work, that's when everybody knows. I saw the interview of the winner of that seat that Ahmed Lawan has made his personal property. Very intelligent sounding man.
Oh yeah, I watched a bit of his interview yesterday. He had an interview yesterday
On Channels TV.
on Channels TV,
with,
and
Seun
he
Okibare.
came with receipts.
And the man was like, okay, at this elections, everything that should be in place was in place. The INEC officials were there.
Mm-hmm.
All law enforcement people were there. There was an election. He won it. And again, isn't it immoral? Just like we were saying earlier about when APC was asking people to pay 100 million naira for presidency. Isn't it immoral that you contested to be president of Nigeria? You were even announced as consensus candidate at some point. Then you lost out. Then you go to a man who has won an election.
Who won the election?
And
An election you did not contest him.
and you're expecting the guy to just step.
You didn't contest him.
See, next time, if you're really serious about
Shout out to that guy. That guy is a real MVP.
you see, if
I really hope he wins. I hope that the party does not do
the
anything to.
Senate president should stand in front of a mirror and take a look at himself and say, repeat these words after me. Ahmed, you don't try. Since 1999, you don't do this Abuja. You don't try. Maybe allow another person come. You tell yourself that. Then when it's time, you pack your load and go and rest.
Because honestly, let's really be honest. Why I said that guy is the real MVP, and there was a statement the guy made. He said the vice president, the Senate president, contested to be president. He did not want to go to the Senate.
Yeah.
He didn't want to. So, because you lost, because remember, leading up to the APC presidential elections, this was the same name the APC national chairman had announced as the consensus candidate. So, meaning that at some point he felt there was a discussion that he was going to be the flag bearer of the APC at some point, maybe to some set of people, maybe not to everybody, but to some set of people. So the honest truth is that, which I will still reiterate what that man said, he did not want to be Senate. He didn't want to go to the Senate anymore.
I concur.
So if you do not want to go to the Senate, and the one that you aspired to go to, you were not given, or you even lost woefully, because you did not even lose it. You were not first, you were not second, you were not third, you were not fourth, you were not, okay, I think it was fifth.
Whatever.
So whatever it was, you didn't win, you didn't even come close to winning. So when you lose an election, remember what Bola Tinubu had said before the elections: if we lose, we go home. Your house is waiting for you.
Senator Teslim Folari said the same thing.
He said the same thing.
Or your primaries.
Shout out to him as well.
He said, if we lose, we'll go home.
We'll go home. That's what you do. You lose an election, you go home. You don't fight somebody else for their ticket.
Their uncle, Senate President.
Grandpa,
you have lost. Go home.
Go home.
Bros.
Go home, really.
The handwriting on the wall is glaring. A serving Senate president contests to be president of the country and loses, then is now grappling to become a senator
again.
Bros,
a seat that you have held on to for the past 23 years.
Since 1999.
What is it?
When we were small, they used to tell us about Space 1999. 1999 was one time that we were looking forward to, as if it was. Then they told us about the millennium and how the world
was 22 years after that millennium
since that time that the world ended, you are still a senator.
Yeah, still a senator.
Grandpa
Lokwe.
Let's be coming down now. Let's be coming down. Anyhow, Uncle Bros. Lock up.
And it don't look like that man is stepping down.
But the sad part is that I hope
the party does not prevail.
I hope the things we're hearing are not true. That the party is making moves to scuttle the primaries and give Lawan a leeway or a back door.
But also, I
Back
hope
door
that it
Senate.
does not jeopardize the whole issue. Remember, if we're going to take it back to the issue of almost the same thing happening with Senator Akpabio. In his own case, someone else had won the election.
But there's going to be a runoff now.
There is a rerun, and the INEC has said that they do not recognize that rerun.
And they're still making moves to make him get it back. So let's see how that one.
So I don't know how everybody wants to do
this.
this.
Assume for argument purposes that the APC have Bola Tinubu, who is their flag bearer anyway, a Muslim from the south, and although we say we don't want to play this religious politics, but let's just look at what's going on here, and he ends up picking a Muslim vice president. Who is the number 3 person in Nigeria? It's Ahmed Lawan at the moment. If Ahmed Lawan returns as a ranking senator and as the immediate past Senate president,
he's most likely going to get
again. He's going to become Senate president again. So we're basically going to be in a situation where it is Tinubu, which is Ahmed Tinubu, and Masari or whoever he picks, who is a Muslim, and Ahmed again. You understand?
Yeah.
Lawan.
Taking speaker is also.
I think
speaker
there's
is
so much of this stretch of maturity that we can do. Yes, yesterday we were talking about we need to move away from religious politics, but
it is our reality. It is our reality.
It might even be a blessing in disguise for the APC for Lawan not to return.
Not to return. Yes, I agree.
And in the worst case scenario, the way the APC is structured, let there be the Senate president from the southeast.
Southeast. I think that
if the APC wins, because we're not assuming that they've won already. If they win.
So it's a very interesting, a very dicey issue. I hope that all those things are settled. And talking about the Senate majority leader had announced that he was moving from the APC to the PDP. We know a lot of them had moved before during the primaries. Someone else had moved. This minority leader had moved from PDP to ABGA. Also, Senator Adamu Aliero has also officially defected to the PDP from the APC. Now the APC senators are 71. No, they're 69 instead of 71. The PDP senators are 38 now. They would have been 30. They're 38. They would have been 39 if one person had defected from the PDP to ABGA. So ABGA officially has a senator in the House now as well. Very interesting matters how the PDP is still clamoring that his seat should be declared vacant, and I'm wondering how these people that moved from the APC to the PDP, their seats are not being declared vacant.
The PDP are very weak when it comes to playing opposition, because at times the things you ask for or demand for will affect you even more than the people you're trying to get it from, because now you just gained 2 senators on the platform.
Exactly. So I'm wondering,
you lost 1 and gained 2.
True.
It's the APC that should be shouting now that their majority leader seat should be declared vacant and blah 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 blah. But hey, let's all play ostrich.
Okay, so let's move on from national issues and go to Ekiti State. This weekend, the elections is in 2 days. There are a few people on this bill. There is there's APC on it. There's PDP on it. There's SDP. Those are 3 major ones. There's also even a woman.
The lady with the afro.
Yeah, there's a woman on this bill as well, and it is very interesting how would I say it now, how a few people on this thing are people. There are a lot of them that they're not very popular names. In fact, I would say that the main person, the very popular person on this is the former governor that was sacked at some point. What's his name? Segun Oni. He, to me, let's be honest, I think he's the most popular. Not saying that he's Winnie or what's it called, but his most popular name is the one that we are.
He's the most recognized.
He's the most recognized. We had heard about it. He's contesting under SDP. There is Debo Ajayi contesting under YDP. That's the Young Progressives Party. There is the lady Kemi Elebute Ali, ADP, the African Democratic Party. There is Bisi Kolawole that he's contesting under the PDP. There's Wale Olu Yede under the ADC, and then there is Biodun Oyebanji for the APC. And you know, it's very interesting how we have a lot of parties looking at it from the presidential list that I had called out earlier. A lot of people wanting to be president, a lot of people, and none of them seem to have a representation in an election that, whether we like it or not, these pockets of states, these elections might actually help a lot, would determine a lot when it comes to 2023 elections.
That's what we've been saying all day, all night here, that if you're serious, you have to put everything in place. You want to be president, and you cannot tell us the list of your 37, or is it 38?
36.
Or so gubernatorial candidates. You want to be president, and we do not have a total list of your 109 or so senators and your 200 and something House of Rep members. Do you understand what I'm saying? You are not serious.
At least this list is not complete, as Otuba Ruben Famuyibo is on this list as
you
well.
You had to do that, right?
Person for the Accord Party.
Accord Party. You really had to do that.
No, he's on the list.
He's on the list.
Yes, no. He's contesting to be governor.
I'm not going to say anything. Can I continue? Because if you make me talk about this...
Why are you laughing? I don't like it. He's contesting to be governor.
This is the Boombar on your Boom Radio NG, and we just run through the list of people who will be contesting this weekend for the governorship seat in Ekiti State. But I say here, and remember, God will keep us until this time next year and beyond. Any presidential candidate that does not have 36 or 37 people contesting to be governor.
You don't know what you're doing yet.
That does not have 108 or 109 people running to be senators, and over 200 running to be
360 to the House of Representatives. You are not ready.
You are not.
You're ready.
Just fooling people and wasting their time. Whoever you are, I've not mentioned anybody. And if this hits you bad, maybe it's the
because truth, that's how is it that there are only about 6 or 7 candidates in a country where there's elections next year of about 15 different
presidents. This is Ekiti with over 2 million registered
2 million registered voters. What are you doing? There is I can imagine, because once this Ekiti one is done, I'm sure Osun State on kicks off, and I can imagine the number of people also that are contesting. In fact, in Osun State, I think I've only had about 2 or 3 people.
And again, still staying with the Ekiti elections before we talk about anything else. Let us try to always verify our news. Be careful what we put out. A lot of news, a lot of stories went out yesterday that the SDP's candidate Segun Oni, who we have talked about extensively today, has stepped down. He did not. He's still contesting. In fact, he's complaining that his supporters are being hounded and chased about and attacked, whatever. There are stories to that effect that you can read online. So, come on. There's going to be an election, and it's going to be between Segun Oni, Oyebanji, and Kolapo. What's the PDP guy?
Bisi Kolawole, which I don't think is.
I think it's just going to be between those 3. The PDP because of the structure that they have.
Because of the structure. Yeah,
because
of a lot of people have been talking about it. I've seen.
Really
he's a former governor. There's really nothing. Which I feel that maybe he didn't play his politics well. That's why he's where he is now.
No.
But
don't feel he did not play his politics well.
You don't even used to calm down.
No, now the man joined the APC, contested against the current governor, and he lost. At that point in time, he should have stayed back in the APC, supported this government, supported this governor, and positioned himself. A former governor, a former contestant at the primaries.
Then he went to the PDP, did not get the ticket.
Then he now went to SDP.
And then you're going on about
and
how...
You're telling me he played his politics right.
No, I'm saying that maybe he did not.
Maybe he did not.
That's why he's where he is today.
You did not play your politics right. I said so. You did not.
Okay, Ezra has finished it. He has finished the matter. But anyway, we'll be talking about it. Of course, there's no Boombar over the weekend, but I'm sure that by Monday we'll definitely know who the governor-elect is. But even between that, on our social media platforms, we're definitely going to be putting out.
We're going to be here on Sunday afternoon.
Updates and videos.
We'll be giving you updates from what's happening in Ekiti Sunday and Saturday afternoon.
Okay, so, oh wow, our time is really.
See me sipping cup as if there's drink in it.
There's drink in it. Before we leave, very interesting story how a plane caught fire today. A plane actually did catch fire with about 33 people on board. Thankfully, nothing happened to anybody. That's the kind of this is not the first time I'm hearing this kind of thing. In the past few weeks, I think something like that happened. Also, there was also a man that drove a tanker that was burning literally for about 20 something minutes, and it was amazing. And as much as we don't like to hear these things happen, the good news is always that when these things happen, no life is lost.
Yeah, the tanker driver is a hero, a real life hero.
Is amazing.
If he didn't move that truck, the results
for him to have driven
devastating
a burning truck
and if you watch
over
the video,
20 minutes.
If you watch the video, the fire trail followed him all the way.
I think that is somebody somewhere. It comes off to me as someone that is trained very well.
Well, I don't know about training. At times it's instinct. At times it's that.
It's just being human.
At times it's the adrenaline.
How he even the truck boy literally told the truck boy to jump out.
So the overland airline plane was heading to Lagos from Ilorin when it caught fire mid-air and everything. Kudos to the crew and the pilot especially. They landed that plane safely. The Federal Airport Authority were on ground with all the other sister agencies. They were on ground to provide the needed support for them. Not a single life was lost. Nobody was injured. And a big shout out to the passengers who stayed calm.
Yeah.
And they even followed the evacuation procedure, which was line by line and everything. We're glad that no life was lost. And shout out to Overland also for at least having competent people to fly their plane.
Yes.
Go check out what's wrong with the plane. Hopefully you can put it back in the air when you fixed it. But we are glad that this went well.
This went well. And on that good note, that's all we're able to take today on The Bar. Thank you for listening. Thank you very much for watching. Tomorrow is Friday. It is the New Music Friday. Of course, there's been a lot of songs that have been teasing. So those songs, we're definitely going to review them right here on The Bar tomorrow. And a lot of other things that are going to pop up that we'll definitely bring here tomorrow. Have a beautiful, beautiful day ahead.